These are the details that stop a good photo from becoming a great photo. Let's check them out. What's up, everyone? My name is Sal Sincata. Today we are here in Jacksonville at a site undisclosed. We will not tell you where this amazing beach is, no matter what you do or say or bribe us. But we're going to talk about today 4 things that most photographers miss. These details matter. These details are what take your image from an average image to a great image. Now, don't get me wrong, there's all sorts of other things that go into our photography. Lighting, posing, editing, exposure, of course, all those things matter. But these little details are just that, details. You're missing them because you're so excited about the scene. Look where we are. It is incredibly beautiful here. But if I miss these details, my images are just going to be missing that little bit of something. So rather than talk about it, let's jump right in to number 1. All right, so the first thing we miss, eyes. So I see this all the time with photographers. We tell our clients to look away, right? When they look away, all we're seeing are the white of their eyes. So rather than getting in close to me, we're going to do it on Violet here, and it makes a huge difference. So let's get in close to Violet. So Violet looking right at camera, okay? So the first thing you'll do is you'll tell your client, look away. So Violet, keep your face there and look away. So the one thing you should be noticing is all we are seeing are the whites of her eyes. That makes no sense. We want pupils. So the little trick I teach everybody is to have your nose follow your eyes and your eyes follow your nose. So now turn your chin, Violet. Yep. And now what you'll notice is her eyes and her nose, the bridge of her nose, are looking in the same direction. That is a much stronger shot. Even worse, if I tell a bride, a senior, okay, I want you looking off to your left and look away, what they'll do is their face will be in the right place at a 45, but then their eyes will go even further left. That is horrible, right? So this is an easy thing to do and fix, is just teach your clients right from the very beginning, right? Wherever your face goes, wherever your eyes go, make sure the bridge of your nose follows there. And then when you say look away, they don't have to be, where are they going? They don't need to go all the way over there, right? So you just tell them like, hey, you're looking right off in this direction, right off in this direction. It's really like a 15, 20 degrees, right? So we don't need, right? We don't need 90, we don't need full 45, but they can just be right in this area looking away, following their nose, and it's really strong on camera, unless, of course, you're going full profile. So let me take some shots of this. I'll shoot it wrong and shoot it the right way to show you what it looks like in a picture. All right, here we go. Look right at me. Beautiful. Okay, now look away with your eyes. Yep, that's wrong. Now follow it. Yep, beautiful. And now look even further away with your eyeballs. Oh my gosh, those are horrible. Okay, so what not to do. All right, so now, number 2, things growing out of people's heads. This drives me nuts because you'll put them in a scene and then we've got tree trunks, tree branches, everything is growing out of their head. And how often is it when we don't realize it until we are back in production, post-production, and then we're like, ah, she's got a tree growing out of her head, branches going out of her head. Now, don't get me wrong, I make these mistakes, right? It happens. But what I'm doing is when I'm in the field, I'll take my shot, and what I'll say to my couples, my models, my seniors, I'll just say, test shot. And I do that. I take one shot, even if I'm not using flash, look at the back of the camera, and I just ask myself all the time, what could be better? Start challenging yourself that way. Challenge yourself to just go, what could be better, okay? What's wrong with this shot? There's always gonna be something wrong. No matter how good you are at being a photographer, you're always gonna be making mistakes, and that's okay, but try to catch them. Because now all I have to do, I can still use this beautiful scene. Now I just wanna move her to just slide her over a little bit and use this. So Violet, let's move you over to the left. I kinda like some of these leading lines here, right about there, yep. And yep, do your legs for me, good. And we'll start with you right at me, gorgeous. Looking away, the correct way, gorgeous. Now we're using this element to frame her up in a very creative way. And what you'll see now in these frames is we're using the driftwood from the bottom left across the frame to the top right, and then we're putting her in there. Compositionally, you can start playing with this a multitude of ways, right? But I don't have anything directly growing out of her head, and I think that's very important, okay? Number 3, hands. Hands are the worst, right? I see photographers, not my hands are beautiful. Photographers are the worst at this, right? Everybody's the worst at it, really, because we don't know how to really have our hands. So if we come in here on Violet, a couple of things. So Violet, do me a favor. I'll show you a couple of ways that hands matter. Be very strong with them at first, okay? So I want you to take your hands and sweep that hair off the right, okay? So even there, she can't do it wrong. There we go. Okay. So you can see now she's got very strong hand grip here on her hand, right? Or we see the back of the palm. This is very important as well. We never want to see this back of the hand. Why? It makes her hand look bigger. Then now go dainty with it. Very soft and elegant and flowing. If I had to be nitpicky, I'd break this wrist just a little bit, right? So I'm getting all these angles here. But you see how we've softened up that hand like she's holding a pencil? That's different than giving me the back of the hand. So go to the back of the hand, show us that again, okay? It just becomes heavy. And it wouldn't matter if she were here or if she were touch her shoulder or something. We do this, stuff like this a lot. See how strong we've made that? Now soften that for me. Now we've turned it sideways, right? So hands matter. What about when you have people just standing here, okay? So pull back and Violet, stand and give us the news anchor pose, right? I call this news anchor. You'll notice this if you ever watch news and you see somebody giving the weather, their hands are never drop them straight down. Hands are never like that, never. Because a couple of things are gonna happen. One, they get lost here, and usually in the frame on TV, it's cut here, so their arms would be being cut off. Other thing is, if you have a client who has heavier arms, the minute their arms drop down, it makes them wider. Nobody wants that. So get those elbows up, right? And they don't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Maybe make them, right, like that. Maybe you're playing with your ring, right? That's a way to guide your client as well, because you see how much softer the hands are gonna become. Also, asymmetry, right? So let's put your left hand on your hip. We got a couple of ways to do that. We can go there, do it reverse. We can do there, right? So you can see how quickly we can move here. But I want you to notice what's happening with this hand here. So she'll bring it here for some asymmetry, right? So go both hands on the hips. Woo, cheerleader pose, right? Sorority girls, we don't want that. You like it?
Power pose.
She's pulling it off. She's making it look, yeah, she's making it look too good. Damn it, Vi. Okay, let that arm drop, right? Or if we're gonna put two hands up, they're at different distances, right? Or reaching across. You see what we're doing there with symmetry, okay? So let me shoot some of these. God gave us great lighting right now. This doesn't even look real. Gorgeous, Violet. Stay there, keep looking away. Give me eyes. Chin down, beautiful, stay there. And you'll see in this last frame, because of the way I have her hands, drop your hands now. So I'm taking the same frame up, but in the second shot I'm showing you, because her arms are down, they're not in that frame. I'm cutting off at the joints, and we don't want that. I'm not saying it never happens, but these are things that can make your photographs better. And number 4, I think it's the best tip of all, composition. You've got to learn composition, whether it's rule of thirds, leading lines, all of those things. They make an image more interesting, more dynamic, right? Something that I don't want my pictures to look like some mom with an iPhone showed up and took a picture, right? So I've got to use this to get better shots. So let's turn around and just look here. There's a million places we can shoot here right now, but I've got this really primary element here in this tree that's leading from left to right, right? So let's bring you out here, Violet. So I'm gonna create some separation from her in the background, okay? So let's put you right there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide her to my right, yep. And I'm gonna have the tree branches kind of coming around and framing her up. I'm gonna pick a low angle, so that's another mistake, right? Kind of like tip number 5. But get your subject off the background. They should not be directly on the background, because then there's no separation, all right? So now I can come down here and I can use all of those leading lines to frame her up. Gorgeous, Violet. Looking away. Oh, killer, killer, killer. Eye contact, love that, Violet. I'm gonna get some vertical here. Looking away, love that. Eye contact, beautiful. Give me something different, Violet, with the arms. Mix it up, I love that, I love that. Looking away with that, love that. Stay there with it, keep that pose. Gorgeous, Violet, good job. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. We got some killer shots here. Your next photo shoot, just write these 4 tips down, things to think about. If there's one takeaway from this video, I would say to you, ask yourself, after you take your test shot, ask yourself, what could be better? It's a simple challenge to yourself. You will always find something, and it will make you a better photographer. We'll see you in the next video.